What's going on, you bunch of heretics? Grab your paint pots, grab your recaf, and let's get some paint on that ever-growing pile of potential. We are back with, of course, faction focus Kroot, and today we are going to be slap chopping the Kroot Rampager, a model I have been very much looking forward to slap chopping. So, as always, everything you need is in the description below. I'll try and make this video a little bit shorter because I'm quite aware that some of the tutorials have been very, very long. So yes, hopefully it should be a relatively quick tutorial on how to slap chop the Kroot Rampager. Yeah, let's get to it. So here we go, the Kroot Rampager. So as you can see, I've always kind of got a bit of to an earlier start with the model. As always, I prime the model with Army Painter primer, and this is their matte black primer from the Army Painter. Really, really nice. And then all I've done is just a couple of thin layers of Rhinox hide, just to get the model with that base sort of colouring in the areas that are predominantly going to be brown, which is most of the model. All right. So as always, don't forget. Unfortunately, I haven't got a holder, so a lot of it's going to be with my hand holding him. A bit frustrating, I know. We've got our wet palette, we've got our paint pot, our water pot, and of course we've got our selection of brushes. Key one in the addition that we've been doing is making sure you've got a large dry brush that hasn't really been used. This is just so that between each dry brush, all you're going to do is you're just going to very quickly get all of the dust kind of gets created when you dry brush. All right, so without further ado, let's get on to our 4-stage base slap chop. Which is going to be our, in fact, we're going to try something new today. We're going to skip the Mechanicus standard grey, and we're just going to go with Administratum grey. We're going to go Ulthran grey, and we're going to go white scar. So we're going to see how that looks, because I want to get a bit more of the brown into the model. So let's see how that looks, and we'll get on with it. Starting off with the Administratum grey, don't forget we're going to want to use either a texture palette or some kitchen roll for the dry brushing. So as always, plenty on the model, plenty on the brush, as I say, and then of course you know the routine, taking it all off, small circles off. Oh, pardon me, and nice and messily, we're just going to start to apply, working from the bottom down. Small circles all over the miniature. We want to be absolutely everywhere. Now we are probably going to need to use our small dry brush just to get into some of the nooks and crannies of this model. Okay. Right, so there we are. That is the Administratum grey done. I actually quite like the way we've done that, because I think what that has done is allowed for the brown, the Rhinox hide, just to kind of be a bit more present in the model. And as you can see, we've done a really great job of keeping that nice and light for the initial dry brush. Take your time with this. It's a really, really key element of the slap chop process. All right, take your time with this. Don't rush it. A good base will sort you right out. And as I say before, we're just going to get your large dry brush and just get off all of the excess, any of the excess sort of dry brushing that's happened, and it'll just make life a little bit easier when it comes to the painting. But this is a really key step. Make sure that you just get a dry brush that you don't use for anything other than just removing any excess, anything excess. Okay, all done there. Right, moving very quickly on. So we're going to go back to we're now going to get our Ulthran grey, and again we'll just get a medium dry brush. This is fine, this will do. Or if you want to, you know, you can use your Army Painter dry brush. For the time being, I'm just going to, or you can even use a small one if you want to. In fact, no, we'll use the small one for the white scar. For the time being, I'm just going to go with a medium dry brush from Citadel. Like I say, you can use either this, or you can use your Masterclass from Army Painter. All right. Might flicker between the two. You know what? Let's use this one. Let's use this one for the time being. So again, shake it up, shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. Plenty of paint on. Okay, and again, all we're doing with this one, take it all off, as we always do. Take it all off, all off, all off, all off, all off. Even get a fresh bit of paper if you need to. Okay, and all we're doing is we're just top of the model, all the areas where the light, small circles, all the areas where the light is catching the model. So again, this dry brush is great for getting all those larger areas done, like that, and then you'll switch to your medium dry brush or your small dry brush, just to catch the light in those little nooks and crannies where the light would be shining down. Okay. So there we are, that is the Ultraman Grey applied, and that is looking pretty nice. Again, I've just run that large dry brush over just to get rid of any of the excess, any excess dust. And finally, again, you're going to go with your small dry brushes, either your Masterclass from Army Painter or your Citadel small dry brushes, and this is where you can use your STL as well if you really want to, whichever one you want to do. So again, I'm probably just going to use the Army Painter one for the time being, and you're going to get your white scar, and all you're going to do is where the light is touching everything, this is just those final little highlights, just your final little highlights. Take all that off, by the way. Take all of that off. Take it all off, all off. Okay, and all this is just your final little bits on those raised areas, just around the eyes, all those bits that you want to really pick up to show the highlights on the edge of the knuckles, okay, on the muscles, the hair, again the faces, muscle. Again, it's all it is just picking out the very, very top parts. Again, small circles with these brushes. Nothing underneath. Okay, just all on the tops where the light would be catching. Okay, cool. So we're going to take advantage of the fact that this model actually has a bit of a pre-base on it. Okay, so we're going to take advantage of that, and I'm going to take this opportunity to apply my Aggwelin Earth, okay, on the model straight from the pot. Okay, so that it can, because it's quite a large space that we're going to be using, so we might as well get the base prepared. If you want to, you can apply a brown underneath, but for me, I'm happy just to go straight from the pot and just straight in, no messing around. Already pre-on. Just mind your fingers this one, because like I say, we are going to be holding the base, unless of course you've got the wider holder, model holder. So yeah, just pop it all in there, easy as that. Remember, apply on pretty thick, and you get some really nice cracks on this guy. Okay, next up guys, we are going to make sure that we've got our Lamium medium, or you can use contrast medium, whichever one you want. I quite like this Lamium medium. I think it creates a nice effect on the models. And we are going to want snakebite leather. I'm pretty sure this used to be a colour many years ago, like a standard normal paint colour. But hey, it's good to see it back. But snakebite leather, I think, is going to be a great starting point for our model. And for our Kroot, all we are going to do, we are just going to apply this all over the model. So you're going to want two 3 parts snakebite leather and just that 1 part Lamian medium. Okay, and all we're going to do is just mind your fingers again, and like say, all this is going to do, this is just going to go all over our Krootox. Again, just on the chest, on the arms. So it's a key point on the chest because this is going to be a kind of main colour for the chest, and then we use different colours to get the rest of the model done. But yes, so for the time being, all in here, all round him. Arms, don't worry about the leather work on here, that'll be different colours as with the brooches, but otherwise all the muscle area of the Kroot, in essence the main body. Okay, so all of the main body of the Kroot, this all needs to be in snakebite leather. So that is, there we are, that's the snakebite leather all applied on him. So now we're just going to very quickly just get the skin of the Kroot mercenary himself. I think we're going to go with a dark angel's green for this guy. The beauty of the Kroot is there's just so much variety and choice that you can do for these guys. You know, we've done the episode of the different colours of Kroot that you can do. I might even do an alternate skin video. But again, we're just going to use our Lamian medium and our dark angel's green just to see, just to get on it. Again, nice and thin, and then you can build it up from there. So again, we're just going to get in it all in here. Get him all squared away. There he is. Oh, pooling a little bit. You don't really want that. Okay, so we just move the paint around. And again, we're just, again, like I say, it's just very, very thinly done. But the great thing about this is we can just darken it up whenever we want. So it might take a few layers just to get there a darker green that we want. All right, but yeah, I quite like this green on this guy. And again, what I probably do is a bit of snakebite leather just on his beak, just to blend that in. We can do that now if you want. Get a little bit of the old snakebite leather that we had in there, and we'll just place it on his beak in there. And that just almost like a bit of a wet blend there. Whoa, look at that. There's a freebie for you. Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, so we're just, like I say, we're just building up the greens on this guy. Don't worry, the great thing about this, when it's doing it nice and light on some of these areas, we can always just go back over with a darker colour should we want to. Okay, but again, we're just all over the model. So again, I'll let this dry off, stop the pooling, and I'll probably just do another couple of layers on him just to get him into the colour scheme once. But hopefully you can kind of see that green effect that we've got going on there. Okay, oh, a bit bright. Okay, yeah, so there we've got our sort of like baseline colours of where we're going to kind of go. So next up, we're going to start popping in some of the leather on our model, and we're going to go back with our good old friend Gore Grunter first. Such a versatile paint, which you'll love to see. So what we're going to do, we are going to put him on, so actually I'm going to have, this is going to be black, but we're going to put it on some of the areas, so like the straps, the bags, the underneath the brooch itself, so being these leather parts here, but a lot of the straps that you can see, we're going to get our Gore Grunter fur. So what we're going to do, place on, and again, nice dose on, get your Lamian medium, and just pop that in there. Like I say, we always want to have our colours nice and thin, so that we can just start to build up. And again, all I'm doing is just working into the leather areas, again on that leather strap here. Okay, so working into all the leather, all the bits that I want to create a leathery look to it. Okay, and again, we will slowly but surely we'll just build. Okay, we'll build on these as we continue with the model. All right. Remember, you can make it as dark or as light as you want to, but for the time being, all we're doing is just getting the leather all prepped up. Okay. So again, say underneath the leather of the gauntlets, the straps underneath. Okay, all the straps. Again, all the buckles and the straps, the buckles, that leather bit there, leather on the top here, and then you're going to want to do all the leather of his weapon holdings on here as well. Okay. Right, there you go. So we've just started to get all like the base of the leather work in there, so hopefully you can kind of see that. Yes, he is coming along rather nicely. So next up, all we're going to do, we're just going to apply the kind of gold, what would be like a gold brooch on there. And all we're going to use for that is we're going to get our iron done yellow and apply our non-metal metallic type technique, or quite that dulled out Aztec-y look. So same again, we'll get it on our palette. And the great thing about these, the Kroot, is they're very, very neutral in colour. So we can, the colours blend in together rather nicely. Anyway, yes, so iron done yellow, a personal favourite of mine. And all we'll do, yeah, you know the routine. We're just going to pop that in here, like so. And then we'll start to build with all of the other colours for this. But again, all we're doing, we're just trying to get all the base colours on, and then we can build from there. Okay, so yeah, onto the brooches where they would be. All done. Okay, there he is, all kind of done with his yellow gauntlets. So all we're going to do now, we're just going to get a little bit of Flesh Tearers red, and all I'm going to do, just where his clothing is, this is just my own sort of like colour scheme really, I just want to give him a bit of a red top, you know, a bit of a red top. Slight mistake there, don't worry, we just wore it off and just take it off there. So he's going to have a bit of a darkened red, but again, this will all make, again, we're just getting our base colours on. Okay, we're literally just getting all of our base colours on. So again, I just want the red in here, nice and loose of it, a bit like our flesh shaper. He's going to have himself a nice red top. Okay. Now, in essence, realistically, if you really wanted to, you could add a bit of paint into his hair, and realistically, you could say that's him, kind of in essence. Oh dear, hang on. You know, you could say that's him all done. It's got some colour on him. You could bang him on the tabletop and he doesn't look too bad. But we're not going to do that. Anyway, like I say, we'll let that red dry off, and then all you're going to do, just go over it again, and just keep building up those layers of contrast. Okay. And now we're going to start to really work on the rest of the model. Next up, we're going to do the saddle. We're going to start with a bit of a Abbadon turquoise, and again, this needs to be nice and light, nothing wild. So on our palette, again, we're going to get our Lamian medium, and this is, so what we're trying to do is just create like just a bit of an undertone effect before we put on the black. Okay, so all we're doing, just with our Abbadon turquoise, just all around in here on the saddle. Okay, just to give it a bit more of a highlight effect for when we actually come to put the black on, and it'll make sense once we start to put that on. All right, so the saddle, grab your Abbadon turquoise, and all we're going to do is just nice and light, just place this all inside there, making sure we really get onto the highlighted areas. Okay, like I say, it will make sense once we've put it all on. as these things always do. It's this middle section that always seems to take forever, doesn't it? Okay, so we have all of our core kind of colours on now. So this is where we now start to really build on the model. First thing we're going to do is we're now just going to start to sort out the flesh on both the Krootox and the actual rider. So very quickly with the rider, we're going to get some Creed camo. First of all, we're going to place that Creed camo in our old Dark Angels green mix, just in the top there. Okay. And again, nicely watered, or not nicely watered down, nicely blended in with the Lahmian medium. And all we're going to do is just apply this over the top of the skin like a glaze, just to kind of give the model a bit more depth. Okay, so this will now just give the model a little bit more depth, a little bit more tone. Okay, so apply that over. Then if you want to darken it up, go over it again, just in some of those recess areas, just to kind of give, like say, the model a touch more depth. Okay, just to darken him up a little bit. All right, there we are. So there we have it. That is the nice little blend of the Camo Creed and Dark Angels green. So now we're going to get our Cygor brown. Remember, this is a very, very dark colour. And we're going to add this to our old mix of Gore Grunter fur. Please make sure that you water this right down. Sorry, yeah, water it down with Lahmian medium. Okay, it's really, really important, because we need to build this up. Okay, we're just going to build this up. So this is going to go all over the Krootox. We're going to kind of ignore the beak and these chest areas, but we are going to apply this all over the actual main body. Okay, so the main body we're going to darken, and we build on the darkness with this. Okay, and this will give him that kind of secondary tone effect over the model. So again, we're ignoring that part, or coming all around in here, but what we're not doing is getting the chest area. We're working all inside here, and again, kind of ignoring the beak, a little bit underside. On the bottom, just kind of create a bit of a blend effect. But again, we're just slowly building up all the areas over the Kroot. Again, we get his legs, his feet, his legs. Don't worry about these like little gristle bits. We'll get to those later on once we've done the actual dry brushing over with the sandry dust. But for the time being, all we're doing is we're just darkening up. And just make sure that in the muscle areas that we're just really kind of homing in on those. Okay, there you can see now we've kind of created a little bit of an effect around the chest area, and it's all starting to come together nicely. So again, we're taking our Gore Grunter fur, sorry, our Cygor brown, sorry, and again we're just going to start to work it into the leather areas of the Cygor brown, of the Gore Grunter fur areas. We're just going to start to work that in there now as well. Okay, so again, Cygor brown, nicely watered down with the Lahmian medium. And all we're going to do now is just ever so slightly, just start to work it into all of the leather work, just to give it a little bit of a break up and a bit of contrast. This Cygor brown works ever so well with all different shades. It's such a with all these neutral colors, it works ever so nicely. So again, all the strapping, all the leather work, all we're going to do is just add this Cygor brown in there, just to give it, again, it's all about giving it that depth. Okay, it's all about just giving it that extra bit of depth. And if you want to, you know, you can add it into the red of his cloak, just to darken it down a little bit. And again, just really thinly, just all over the leatherwork. And again, because of the Gorgonta fur, it just changes the shade ever so slightly, and you can just see all those different tones in the model. And again, when we go and slap chop this in a second, it'll just make a whole heap of sense, you know, a whole heap of sense. And then same again, all we're going to do, just very quickly, same again, we're just going to place it over the yellow. All right, but this needs to be super thinned out. Okay, super thinned out, and just place it over the yellow. Nothing wild. Again, just over the model, just to give it that really easy dulled effect. All right, so again, just watered down. We're just going to go over the model, all around the edges, and it'll just sit in there nicely. Okay, right, there we go. That's predominantly most of it all done there. Now we're going to add some Agrax Earthshade into the base, because as you can see, that's all nice and dried quite rather nicely. Then we're going to do our reds, red, purple and black in the hair, and then he will be pretty much ready to go for the dry brush. Shade brush, liquid talent, aka Agrax Earthshade, and we are on our way, troops. Again, you can water it down if you want to, but it's just get it on. Okay, get it on there. Messy, who cares? Okay, but we need to get this on. It's a good thing that we place that on the model beforehand, because Jiminy Cricket, that stuff's great. But as you can see, the areas that we built up a bit more have created this really nice cracked effect on a bit more of a larger scale. So yes, again, nice and loose, nothing wild. Get it in there, lad. Oosh. Right, time to sort out the saddle. So we've got our Black Legion. Love this colour, it works really well. But again, you do not want this to be thick. Okay, this needs to be, again, like all this stuff, super thinned out. Okay, super thinned out. All right, and again, all we're doing is we're just gonna. You have to build this up. Okay, otherwise it just won't work. Okay, so don't put this straight on from the pot. Okay, this is going to be a couple of layers, handle, the blade, but what it does do is it just creates a really nice finish. All right, so we're just going to build this. Remember, build this up. Don't go straight from the pot. All right, because otherwise you won't get that kind of hint of a hint that it's been like highlighted with like a Space Wolf grey or something, you know. So we just build this colour up. All right, so a good couple of layers. We're in no rush because we're allowing the Agrax Earthshade to dry, you know. And again, a bit more under the handles, where his feet stances, his stunt pegs, if you will, you know, in his stunt pegs. Oh, stunt pegs, love that. Yep, and just like I say, all around the areas where he is mounted. Okay, so just in these little gaps here. Okay, and just in the frame there. All right. Hopefully you can see that okay. And again, just where we've done it inside here. Perfect. Yep. So, like I say, we slowly build on that and it'll be done. Again, while that's waiting, I'll tell you what we'll do. While that's waiting, we'll just go back and grab our Flesh Terrors Red. Again, probably a bit of a longer one. And all we're going to do is we're just going to put the first layer of red in the hair, as we do for ours. This is just my theme, sorry. This is just my theme in their hair, which is the red, purple and black. Okay, so red in the top. Again, give it to him as well. Into him. Okay, red, and then purple and black. Great. Red applied, purple, the middle lamy medium, purple, a bit thicker actually, a bit thicker, a bit darker. There we go. But okay, again, don't worry about it. Wet blend it. It's all good. And again, just down to the base. Blend that all in together like that. Bit of a wild rider, this geezer, isn't he? He is a wild rider. Yeah, go as far as you want to in him. Just to get that purple blend. Same in the Krootox? Yeah, the Krootox, the Rampager. Love these. I really love these models. Super easy to do this. You know, how long would this take you usually? You know, good couple of hours. Maybe, you know, maybe if you had the time, if you're edge highlighting everything, you know, definitely not going to be an even's work. This is what, small tutorial. That's probably taken us whilst filming maybe 2 hours tops, absolute tops. Right, and then we're going to go back to our Black Templar because it's right there, and as you can see, that's dried up already again. So we're just going to place a bit more on the saddle, his riding saddle, if you will. A bit more on the riding saddle. Remember, like I say, we just built him up bit by bit by bit. Nothing too wild, just bit by bit, not rushing anything. Okay, bit by bit by bit. And there we go. And then back into his handle of the blade. Same, and then finally we're just gonna bottom of the hair. We just add that black in there. Okay, add that black in the bottom, just to blend it in nicely. Okay, right. I believe he's ready for his dry brush treatment. All right, yeah. Rightio, folks, it is that time where we apply the magic, if you will. This is, so like I say, you know, if you wanted, as I said before, this is another stage where you could go, you know what, I'm happy with the model, I'll put my silver on, and I am good to go for the day. I'll get him on the tabletop and I'm fine. But we don't want to do that here at Heresy is my therapy. No, no, no. So we're going to get our Zandri dust and we are going to apply this all over the model. Again, as I always say, this is another slowish process, but one that's really, really important to get the effect that we want. So again, plenty on the model. Take it all off. So plenty on the brush, take it all off, and all you're going to do on the base, and then we are just going to feather touch all over the model. Okay, feather touch. Do not put loads of pressure on this. This is just a nice and light application of the dry brush. The areas that you want to, like for example the beak, yes, feel free to go a little bit heavier. If you want to go a little bit heavier on some of the chest area, go a little bit heavier there. However, this is over the model, just getting those raised areas super, super light. Okay, super, super light, and you will just start to see the model change and those areas highlighted, just looking even better than before. Okay, so nice and light, nothing wild. Again, dry brush on, grab your Zandri dust, we're taking it all off, okay, taking it all off, and we are just highlighting where we are, okay. Again, super light, nothing wild, nothing too hard, okay, just all over the model. Okay, let's go. Next, your shabty bone, and we're just going to pick out some areas that we want to just highlight a little more, just to kind of give it a little bit of a breakup of bits and pieces. So again, beak. Okay, we're going to highlight the beak considerably more. Round the eyes. Again, just round the eyes. Okay, round the eyes. Again, face of our rider on the beak, and again on the gauntlet, we're just going to highlight the gauntlets a little bit with that bleach bone. Okay, so bleach bone, bleach blah blah blah. Jiminy Cricket, I'm going right old school here, aren't I? So just on the gauntlets, we're just going to add it. Okay, and then little bits just on the chest, little bits of the knees, toes, cut little bits just on the tops, just to kind of break those highlights a bit more, okay, particularly on those gauntlets, alright, because we're going to add a bit of a glaze on those gauntlets to finish with. And then of course, yes, just on the bottom, just grab medium dry brush, either this one or your army painter brush, and again, all you're going to do, just nice and gently, just all over, no rush, nothing wild, just create that desert effect, ready for us to apply the base and bits that we want on it. Again, it's nothing neat, these are the moving sand in the desert, if you will, because we're going to put loads of bits and pieces on it. Okay, so all I'm going to do next, okay, very quickly while we're here, I'll sort that in a minute, don't worry. I am just going to grab my iron done yellow. Okay, and all I'm going to do is apply a very thin glaze, and I mean a very thin glaze of iron done yellow. So in the iron done yellow that we had before, just grab it into there, and grab our contrast lamium medium very quickly. Again, I'm rushing this a little bit. Okay, but again, really thin glaze. Okay, just on this, just to kind of give it a bit more of a goldish look, there or thereabouts, but it just breaks up ever so slightly. Okay, ever so slightly, nothing wild, but just ever so slightly, just on those gauntlets, just to give it a bit more of a look. Okay, on there again, and in here, it just breaks up the hands, the leather underneath. Okay, and it just, I think, just gives it a bit more of a golden sheen, if you will. Golden sheen, does that make any sense? Maybe, I don't know. Okay, once you've done that, all the little quills, it all depends on what colour you want to go with. Me, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab some Agrax Earthshade, pretty much straight from the pot, or Agrax I think from before that was slightly watered down. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to liquid talent them in there. Okay, just a bit of Agrax Earthshade from before, just all in here, just to break those up a little bit and just to give them their own sort of bit. And if you want to go back over and highlight them, you absolutely can do, but I think these just deserve a little bit of their own depth to them. So again, you just Agrax Earthshade all over these, let the liquid talent do its job. Liquid talent has been applied. It's now time for some Iron Warriors to head on in. Okay, Iron Warriors, all we're going to do, we're just going to put it into the metalwork, some of the buckles and the blades. Alright, so again, just on our wet palette. Doesn't need to be neat, but all we're doing is just straight on to here. Again, a couple of thin layers, just to keep with the theme of the model. I keep burping, guys, and I'm really sorry. But again, so you're going to want it on that side plate, that tiny little bit of unnecessary armor. I think it's more decoration than anything, in the actual blade. And then of course, weapons, spears, and then obviously the main hand weapon, this beautiful mace type weapon. And then if you want to, you can add the blood effect that we did from the flesh shaper. If you haven't seen that video, head over and go check it out. That flesh shaper is always good to see with the blood effect in there. So if you want to do that, go check that out. But yes, okay. So yeah, so just all you need to do, a couple of layers of that on all the metal work, so in all the buckles as well, and that'll be all sorted out. With your old mix of Agrax Earthshade, so we're going to have a bit of a blendy mix of Agrax Earthshade and good old Nuln Oil. We are now going to Nuln Oil and Agrax Earthshade. We're just now going to go over and just put all that into our metalwork. Okay, so a little bit of Agrax Earthshade and a nice blend of Nuln Oil. This creates like a bit of a, not a rusted look, but it just gives it depth, but also a little bit of tone, I want to say. He says, like he knows what he's talking about. He doesn't, not even slightly. We're just making it up as we go along, I suppose. So yeah, just bit of Agrax Earthshade in there as well, and then with the Nuln Oil, it does create this like quite nice bronzy looking rusty type effect, which I think suits these Kroot mercenaries very, very nicely. But that's just me. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, it's just me. So yes, all in the weapon, and then again we're just going to place it just gently, nice and loose, nice and light, over the armor work, just to kind of give it that little bit of a bronzed, worn look. Don't worry, we're going to go over it with some Stormhost Silver in just a second. And what's great about this colour is if you get it into the animal, into the Kroot or whatever, or into some of these areas, it really doesn't matter, because it's all quite neutral anyways. Alright, next up, so again, all we're going to do now is we're just going to add some dots into the eyes, and then we're going to go over in red. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my white scar, and all I'm going to do, nice thin little brush, teeny tiny brush, get your white scar. Oh, that's probably not ideal. Into the eyes. So again, just into my Kroot. Yeah, in there like so. Okay, done. So 2 nice big dots. Then we're going to grab our, hopefully what should still be okay to use, our red. What we're going to do, just going to place that around the eyes. Okay, and this is where you do not need to be neat at all with this. You're literally just placing it in around the eyes and allowing the highlights to do their job, and it creates like this almost like war painty effect around the eyes. And we'll do the same for the Kroot Rider. Stormhost Silver time, and we are almost there, guys. We are almost there. So yep, Stormhost Silver, we're just going to grab our brush, again dry brush, and again it's easy enough, take it all off, usual dry brush routine, take it all off, and then all we're going to do, just ever so slightly, we're just going to just sit over the model, just like so, nothing wild. As always, we're just literally creating a nice highlight effect. Same again, just over this arm a bit to the blade, and if you want to get into some of the bits, just use a little bit of an edge height and some of the stuff. But again, there he goes. So blades all done, and armor piece, and if you want to get into the bits, you can do. All right. All I'm going to do now actually is just very, very delicately, some of the quills, I'm just going to add a slight highlight of something different. Add a slight highlight of Iron Ratch skin. Okay, so this is going to just go in all the quills. Okay, so this is that's a bit of a wet one, isn't it? I don't know how I feel about that. So again, this is just going to go in the quills where we've just need a little something else just to show they've not been forgotten about. Okay, they've had the liquid talent, now they're just getting some little bit of quill love, bit of love for the quills. Yeah, maybe just pop a bit more on the chest, a bit more on the beaks. And there we go, that's nice. Just breaks it up a little bit. Nothing wild, but just gives them their own little bit of identity on the model. You know? Cool. Right, that's pretty much all done. So we'll skip to the part where he is based and all good to go. Right, there he is, all done, all finished in pretty quick time, so all based up in my usual sort of pattern. And yeah, there he is, good to go, ready for the battlefield, ready to join his Kroot Hunting Pack. As always, guys, if you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up, and yeah, obviously like and subscribe, all that usual jargon, hitting the notification bell, blah 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 blah. Yeah, there we go, only a few more to go for Kroot faction focus, but yes, hopefully you're enjoying this. Anyway, rambling on, I will see you on the next one, guys. Yeah, bye. Join.